going on, dudes and dudettes? So it's about the only look I can give now when thinking about and hearing about all this news come out of USC, especially the crap that happened yesterday. So even though he's already enrolled and signed officially with USC, their top rated prospect, the top 10 prospect, wide receiver / athlete, Bru McCoy for USC, excuse me, is looking to transfer. He's entered himself into the transfer portal, as they're calling it now, for college football. And it definitely looks like he's going to land with his second team that he was trying to decide between. And that's, of course, Texas, which sucks even more. But, I mean, it just goes on and on every single day what's happening. You just never know. I think USC needs to get into this transfer portal, especially look at some of the guys that are in there. Try to get some of these guys, because that's what Miami is doing, and they're getting a lot of talented players already, especially including one USC player. And I think there's still a few guys out there that are transferring from pretty big schools that we'll definitely need on our roster coming up this season. And yeah, it's just too much stuff to think about and handle with all the crap that's been going on over there. Just like a lot of instability. And the kid said, you know, it didn't really matter that Kingsbury left. He committed to Coach Helton. And of course, that's just a lie anyways, because obviously he did this. And who would ever think that this could happen so freaking early? But apparently it can. The guy's a good guy. If you do go to Texas, it's gonna suck. But I guess good luck. And yeah, it's gonna be tough. But some other news was the wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr., who's returning this year. He did get a 3rd round grade from the draft experts, and that's why it's kind of even more surprising why he would want to come back to a tumultuous school right now. But he wants to improve something, and maybe he thinks he could make himself into a top 2nd or even late 1st round pick. So definitely a lot of love going towards him. Thank you for coming back and sticking with us. And definitely a guy that maybe the Chargers might be looking at, especially on the offensive line. Actually from USC as well. Chuma Edoga, he's a left tackle. I didn't really like him just because he was always doing some bonehead plays and never really consistent his first couple years. But right now at the Senior Bowl practices, he's been doing really well against some of the top competition over there, and he might be rising up draft stocks as well. And if the Chargers need to get a certain type of player, whether it's the linebacker or quarterback in the first 2 rounds, then this guy will definitely be available around the 3rd round as well. And they won't have to reach for a guy in the 1st or 2nd round at that offensive line position. But definitely a lot of crappy USC news, so let's keep on moving. And surprisingly, the USC basketball team beat Arizona pretty good yesterday, so that's cool. 2nd straight win. Then some Chargers news. Obviously, Philip Rivers saying he's going to take a year-by-year basis, but he thinks he's going to be able to play many years. I obviously think that's the only way they should look at it. It's just a year-to-year basis, and especially if he just wants to be a backup quarterback, that's fine as well. Then Jason Tatum, there's a report that he might be in a skills competition at the NBA All-Star Weekend. Be pretty cool. Ex-Duke player. And then some of the Duke recruits and USC recruits that were named to the McDonald's All-American game. 2 of the Duke guys, Vernon Carey and Wendell Moore. And then also for USC it was Isaiah Mobley. So congrats to them. Definitely be watching that. And hopefully we get a few more of those guys coming out of that game. And to top this video off, so Marvin Bagley, the power forward for the Kings, who's selected number 2 overall from Duke, is looking to have a breakout second half of his rookie year. Definitely was dealing with the injury for a few weeks, but looks like he's back. Definitely getting some more minutes coming off the bench again, but hopefully he can get more minutes, even if it's coming off the bench or begin to start, because what's the point of wasting a number 2 overall pick on a guy if you're not going to use him? Definitely rather have him on the Lakers anyways. But then some Anaheim Ducks news. So another forward is injured for a while now, Andres Cassie. But another forward is going to be coming back finally, and Corey Perry. He is a veteran, definitely been there a while. Finally healthy, it looks like, but they're going to have to bring him back in. They were on that little bit of a winning streak, and then they did lose that game, obviously, when I gave them credit right after that. So hopefully they can mix it up and get better. I believe it's like the All-Star week this week, and I think only John Gibson, the goalie, is participating in anything, but good luck to him. And then some of big Lakers news, especially involving a trade. This guy, Bill Oram, reporter, said that the Lakers are going to either make a trade that allows them to get into the playoffs and compete this year, or they're going to make a trade that's going to bring a second superstar for LeBron James to the Lakers, hopefully by this trade deadline, which is on February 7th. And I'm going to go through right now of the big trade that is supposedly being talked about right now. There are other options that I think I would like, but this is the one they are talking about, and this is one that I have mentioned for a while now, and of course now they're basically deciding to do it. I don't know why. They could have done this a few weeks ago and the Lakers wouldn't have lost all these games with all these injured guys, but definitely going to go through the basically 2 to 3 players that they should be looking to get from this one team, and then listing all the Lakers players. And definitely there's a lot of guys that I believe who should be up for the trade, especially not only to max or match the money wise coming back from Orlando Magic, but be able to get rid of some of these guys who aren't playing very consistently, and hopefully some draft picks will be swapped as well. I'm pretty sure that's the only way it's going to happen, be able to get a guy like what we're going to be talking about right now. And yeah, I'll see you right after the video. Alright, dudes and dudettes, so of course now that the final trade deadline is coming up, I believe February 7th, now Bill Oram, I believe of the LA Times or ESPN, was saying that the Lakers are going to try to make a blockbuster trade for at least another superstar or a second star behind LeBron. So either way, it's going to help them get to the playoffs, or they're going to get another guy to go with LeBron right away. But I seriously don't think that's going to happen. I think this is what's going to happen. So they said they're looking at a guy like a Terrence Ross, who's a three-point shooter. He's averaging career best 13.9 points. Rebounds are up and assists are up, even though it's for the Magic, but they are up. So that's why they want him, because he's a good three-point shooter right now. And his contract is only going to be for this year at $10.5 million. So it's something you got to go with. And I think the only way you're going to compare him to, which is another guy who was involved in the talks apparently right now, which is what I've been saying this whole entire time, but let's get to him real quick. Nikola Vucevic, the ex-USC power forward. And yes, of course, like I stated before in past videos, averaging career best 20 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, able to stretch the floor, shoot the three, get a lot of moves inside the post, score down there as well, be able to help out LeBron. A better complement as a power forward / center compared to Kevin Love, in my opinion. And his contract is only going to be up for this year as well, and he's making $12.75 million. So in order for the Lakers, if they're going to go in this direction to get these 2 type of players, in my opinion, they need to add a third player. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a third player, and this is what I'm going to add. DJ Augustin, yes, the ex-Texas point guard. Been in the league for a while, but once again, averaging career best, more than 11 points a game, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. And his contract is going to be for 2 years. So yes, that does kind of, go into an issue of going into next year as far as that money being spent on a top free agent. But it is only be 7.25 million this year and 7.25 million next year. And if they do like him and if he is doing a good job even this summer, they can give him an extension and stretch out that money so it could be even less, but over like another year or two. So I'm pretty sure they would do that anyways, and whether they would trade him if he ends up progressing down, but I doubt it because he's been really consistent and good this year, and him and Vucevic work very well. But this does mean you're gonna have to give up 3 players in my opinion, and it could be a host of players, but especially from the Lakers, but guys who aren't going to be involved, definitely LeBron James, Kyle Kuzma, Rajon Rondo, Ivica Zubac in my opinion, JaVale McGee, Josh Hart, Svi Mykhailiuk. Any of those guys to me are not on the table, and there's a host of guys you can go, especially to match up with these contracts, which is about whether the 12, 7s, like almost 25 to 30 million in that range. So let's try to match up that. And you do know too, that's why I put that Carmelo Anthony picture up there with LeBron, because if they somehow trade up enough players and get only one less player back in return, then that means there's a roster spot open. And that's obviously what LeBron is trying to do, to get Carmelo Anthony in there. But let's get to the Lakers side of the situation. So of course you're gonna have to add talent like this. So in my opinion, like I've always said, it's either going to be Lonzo Ball or Brandon Ingram. And I always kind of was upset whenever Lonzo would get injured at this point. But turns out I did look down in the rules that you are able to trade an injured player to another team as long as that other team is okay with it, no matter the outcome. That's why usually teams, if they throw in an injured player, will throw in either another draft pick or even another player just to soften the blow, basically, in case that player somehow doesn't end up playing for them. But Lonzo Ball is young enough to where he will heal up, and he has basically another 3 years left on his deal. But definitely throwing Brandon Ingram out there, especially since he hasn't worked very well when him and LeBron are both on the floor. So definitely shipping him off to the Magic, and his contract will go past another 2 years from this year, gradually going up $2 million, and he'll be a restricted free agent too, which is a bonus for the team that has him, because then you're able to extend him yourself, and then if something tries to sign him in the offseason of that summer, then you're able to match it no matter what price. So definitely an intriguing guy to have on your team, and especially the way he's been developing so far. But every time it's with LeBron, it's always been stagnant up to this point. But we'll also add a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You kind of have to match up certain positions that you're going to be getting back. So they're going to want certain guys like this as well. Shooting guard / defender, can kind of shoot the 3. His numbers are a bit lower this year compared to being actually playing a lot more, in my opinion, this year. But he does have a salary of $12 million. So that's really going to help in equaling out towards the guys you're getting back from the Magic, in my opinion. And plus, he might be hard to trade just because for some reason the Lakers allowed him to have a option in his contract where he's able to veto the trade if he doesn't want to go to that team, which is ridiculous for a guy like him in his position, because he's not like a LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, top all-star, superstar guys like that. So you wonder how he was able to get that in his deal. But obviously it's just his agent that's looking out for him, and hopefully he would just accept it, because if you go to Orlando, you play on a crappy team, you might make the playoffs, you might not, but you're also getting non-tax money in your contract, so you might as well just go there for half a year or a year or two and see what you can get, and the most money you can get out of this country, basically. But that would be the only hindrance in involving Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but his contract is high enough to where you would kind of need him to throw it in there, unless you're going to have to give up another player or 2 extra and in matching the. So you probably have to give up maybe 4 to 5 players just to match up in numbers wise. But let's continue. So, and usually these scenarios I would have said involve Lonzo or involve Brandon Ingram, but I think Brandon Ingram is a guy who kind of has to go no matter what, just because of LeBron James and their same positions. But Lonzo, it's like up in the air right now. The only reason I don't want him on the team is because the guy can never stay healthy, and that's just a big hindrance on his development and the team's development. Basically, we're relying on a guy at that position at point guard. But because he was a top 2 pick, his salary does go pretty high after this season, and they're going to have him for 4 more years. So it really just depends if they're able to get another guy coming up in this summer, if they just want to stick with Lonzo and put him on the bench basically to be their 6th man to come out and run the offense, because who knows if Rajon Rondo will be back next year. But hopefully this guy can stay healthy and be able to last a long playoff run that LeBron usually goes on, but this team right now is not constructed to do that. But we'll continue, and Lonzo is the only question mark, kind of more, just because you might need him later if he is healthy, and if he's not, then you might as well just get rid of him. But Michael Beasley, definitely I'm adding him in there. Just another power forward / small forward that the Magic could use, and he's only owed $3.5 million. So that's another reason to add him. Guy like Lance Stevenson, he's been okay, and definitely under his career numbers, but definitely a certain guy you could add to a roster like Orlando, and he's only getting $4.4 million. So I said you kind of have to add a little bit more of the number of guys, especially right now if you can't do a Lonzo or a Kentavious Caldwell, because a lot of these guys have lower salaries, and even like a Moritz Wagner, the rookie, because he hasn't really performed really well and semi-injured in the beginning, but again on a really low rookie schedule to be paid in the coming years. So definitely another benefit, but there's still one more guy. Let me get to him real quick. And yes, Tyson Chicken Chandler, who I like to call him. I mean, defensively, yeah, he's helped the Lakers somewhat, but that was kind of more when LeBron was there. Right now, they have not been really all that good. Still giving up over 100 points, seems like every freaking game now. And the Lakers were definitely talking, especially after last night's loss to Minnesota, was about the rebounding and consistent offensive rebounds they kept giving back to those guys, and you would think a guy at his position, but I just think he's just too old right now, not as athletic as say JaVale McGee or Ivica Zubac, who both were flourishing, especially at the beginning of the year with LeBron James. McGee plays a lot better, but then Ivica Zubac has stepped up a lot more and is rebounding and scoring the ball a lot more compared to Tyson Chandler. So I think this guy would be a casualty of a guy going back, especially since now it also matches up. That's why I would say Tyson Chandler or Moritz Wagner to both go to Orlando, just because they are getting rid of a power forward / center, and he's getting owed $2.1 million this year. So yeah, definitely something you got to look for. Definitely going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen, but I'll end the video right now. So thanks for watching, people. I know I talked a bit long there, but definitely a lot easier to talk and go through the pictures like that instead of having to write everything down, waste another 5 to 10 minutes just to do that, bust that out real quick. And yes, hopefully that is a pretty big blockbuster trade in my opinion. It's not really getting a major star, but you are getting players that are only basically 1-year rentals back, and you're able to still save that money to get that other star next or this summer actually, and then be able to trade some more guys, be able to get another star if you really wanted to. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. Thank you for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think, and have a great rest of your day.